Welcome back, everyone. Special thanks to all of you for joining me on this special project. I did not expect to have quite so much interest in my ATVW build, so thank you so much. I've been contacted by so many people about the Hondub foreskin, and even lots of my local friends have wanted to stop by just to see this thing, but never before did they do the same for Gregory, nor Eleanor, or anything else for that matter. This abomination has garnered a tremendous amount of attention from people that I don't ordinarily even talk to. So many thanks again, you guys. Really, I appreciate it. I felt this project needed its own Q&A to try to answer some of the questions that came up this week. But before I answer the questions, I suppose I should mention the guidelines that I'm following for this project once again. 1. It has to be free or cheap junk from my yard. 2. The only exception to the above is if it's absolutely necessary to make things work. 3. All costs will be revealed. 4. I'm open to suggestions from all of my viewers. 5. Let's build this thing as quickly as possible. Well, a lot of my friends missed the point with number 1 with their suggestions. I thought I should address that first and entirely with an answer. Perhaps I'll even get a laugh out of this one because, as I said before in the earlier videos, people just aren't gonna listen. Hey, welcome back to the Midday Q&A. I'm your host, the Duckman. And this is...
the bottle of ketchup that's been in your fridge for over a year. BeeMcQueen!
That means I gotta turn you upside down and pat your bottom. How else are you gonna get it out of there? Anyways, we're back today to answer some questions up here on the ATVW. I have received so much interest in this thing this week. People that I've never spoken to before, even some of my friends that I don't talk to regularly, have stopped by that weren't interested in Gregor or even Eleanor. They had to see this project and they came on out to have a look. I've received so much attention and I've received so many questions that I decided that we need to do a Q&A video just for the foreskin itself. Now, you helped me put this project together. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the whole experience?
Well, it was all stuff that I had done before, so I had an idea of what was going on. Mm-hmm. But I had no inclination as to what your final vision was for this project.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a secret. Yeah. Because I wanted your full-on reaction when we grabbed the steering rack.
So that was a shock. You know, I was expecting some sort of weird compressed Volkswagen thing. I was not in a million years what I would have expected this. So that was interesting, but it was good to get my hands into something that I'd done before, that I didn't require as much direction. Still some, but
You're
not as much.
You're an expert at this point. Oh. That's what I say. I say if you've done it once and you succeeded and it didn't blow up, you're an expert now. So as far as I'm concerned, you did a lot of this with little to no supervision. You were helping me along the way. We worked side by side in the same camera frame at the same time, which is what we usually don't do.
Yeah.
And this time around we did. We built the whole chassis in about 5 hours. Yeah, of course I had pre-selected some of the parts from around the yard, so you didn't see the parts where I'm hammering the shit out of things that I needed to take apart. But that was done. We did about 5 hours. If I wasn't shooting and stopping and recording stuff, we probably could have done it about 2.5. It went together really quickly, and we built an entire car chassis in no time at all.
It was a lot of fun. We should do more projects like that.
I agree. We got lots more junk in the yard. I got enough parts to build a trike, so maybe we'll see something like that in the future. Mm-hmm. Or maybe another motorcycle project of some other sort, because, again, there's so much stuff around. But, anyway, before we get to the rest of the Q&A questions, this is Crash. If you haven't seen the videos already, that's right, we did a formal name review. Yes, you got your name revealed, you did. And this is a very good baby. I'm still hoping it's a girl. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Post down below in the comments what you think and let us know. We'll see, but for certain, it's got to be a Muscovy. Yeah, the behaviors of this one are starting to show is different than that of the other ducks that I've had. So, yeah, probably a Muscovy. You're a wild bird. Yes, you are. Don't forget, check out duckshit.net for all of our different social media links. You'll find our Facebooks, our Patreons, our Instagrams, and what else we got? Twitter accounts.
You'll have to see.
Hit up my website. You won't know until you get there. And if you'd like to email me, duckmancycles@duckshit.net. Thanks again. We'll be back right after the intro. So how about some huge monster truck tires? So how about some large upgraded engine? How about raising or lowering the suspension? How about an airbag or hydraulic suspension? Well, clearly none of those things are in my yard and are going to cost me a lot of money, so the answer right now just has to be no, at least for the time being. Remember, there's at least 3 phases to this build, as defined in my previous video, and upgrades and modifications come last, not first. If you want to see these things, you'll have to donate them. You will absolutely receive my thanks and will be featured in my videos. And of course, I'll be forced to use them to finish off the project, right? I've even received a lot of hate, which made me laugh. You need a wheelie bar! How are you going to stop that piece of shit from doing a wheelie? You've destroyed the weight bias of that thing. Well, let's first say that the power-to-weight ratio is much lower than that of a motorcycle. As a demonstration, without an engine and transmission in it, if I stand on the frame horns and pull really hard on the handlebars, I can ever so slightly lift up the front wheels. But I can do that higher on most of my motorcycles, and they have an engine up front, and this is while leaning forward in the stock seating position. So is it really easy to stop a motorcycle from not doing a wheelie? Yeah, you just don't do one. So how's that different from this thing? I'm more worried about the front wheels understeering tremendously due to the lack of grip in a turn, but I'm really not so worried about wheelies. I do have a few plans on how to help correct this, and you'll see that on Wednesday's video over on Duckman Cycles. But I very much hope that this thing does wheelies. Big ones! Really, really big wheelies. And as far as controlling them, well, I thought the oil pump was the wheelie bar. Right? Shouldn't that work? Maybe? I've also been ragged on for cutting up a rusted out Beetle pan. That what? Has a Streetable title. Well, as you saw, this pan was really rotten in the middle. I was told that I should have fixed that and restored it back to its original condition, completed in original color with chrome trim. Creating anything plain old stock really misses the point to who I am and the scope of my YouTube channel. There are other guys brilliantly building such things in cleanroom environments wearing white gloves, and you can find their excellent build content elsewhere. It's just not here. But the fact that this ATVW has a Streetable title, I should be able to put a plate on it here in Florida and drive it on the roads. Yeah, that's right. I do question some things, though. We do know that slicks are illegal on public roads, but I've been unable to find street tires in these sizes. Maybe you guys can extend your feelers. I need approximately a 225/45 by 13 for the front, and a 255/40 13 for the rear. If I'm unable to find such tires, however, I'll probably need to use the 15-inch wheels from out in the yard off of Eleanor's original leftovers. Really not such a big deal, but it will really change the look of this project. The second thing I'm concerned about here is safety items. Naturally, if I were to put this on the street, I would install all the necessary exterior lighting and directionals to make it legal. But because it is a four-wheeled vehicle, it is defined per the DOT as an automobile and not a motorcycle. That means it needs seat belts. Ugh! This is the reason why you don't see any four-wheeled motorcycles manufactured for the street here in the USA, as four-wheeled means it's a car. Now that I say that, somebody will probably chime in and tell me that it's legal to drive their ATV on the roads in their locality. But that's titled as an ATV. This is a Volkswagen Beetle. It's a car, not the same thing. In Florida, all cars also need windshields, but that's nothing that a properly fitted fairing or windscreen can't resolve. So Duckman, can and will you really drive this thing on the street? Well, yeah, it does have a valid VIN number with a matching title. So here in Florida, as I understand it, if the vehicle retains its original specified engine, original wheels, and original chassis and suspension, or replacement parts that are just like originals to it, then the title and VIN number is still valid. In other words, the platform that contacts the road and drives the vehicle must be original parts. This vehicle, despite having been shortened and built from junk around the yard, still fits that specification. But when it really comes down to it, the only thing that I changed was the body was deleted, I replaced the steering wheel, and I put in a different seat. That's it! Truly, that's it. As an alternative example, here in Florida, if you build something like a Trike, let's say, and you cut the front end off and graft on a motorcycle headstock with a different VIN number, you must submit your receipts for purchase of these items with both VIN numbers to the state, in which they will create a brand new state-issued VIN number. In my case, I have not performed such actions. In many ways, I've skirted a lot of these details. I will have to discuss with a law enforcement officer their opinions on the matter, since ultimately what happens to me at a traffic stop is entirely at their discretion. If ridden on the street, I'm almost certain I will be stopped regularly on this thing, but maybe wearing a helmet will make them happy enough for me not to have a seatbelt? Maybe? Here's hoping. Some folks also suggested a V8 engine, but the weight bias is extremely rearward enough. I have an AMC 304 engine from a Jeep that is here ready to go, but that thing is damn heavy. It's a cast iron block, and it weighs entirely too much for what I'd want to put on here. I think it's a bit excessive, and it'll probably take all the fun out of riding this thing. I also probably have some ground clearance issues underneath that huge oil pan, but it sure would look cool at shows. But still, it's not happening. So the age-old question, when is this thing going to be finished? And as you know, none of my projects are ever finished. So I decided to ask, what do you guys consider finished? And people help to define what it means in their minds. Running and driving to them is considered finished. I think that's fair. And as per guideline number 5, this will be a quick build. Barring any life issues or unforeseen circumstances, I'd say that it could be as quick as a few weeks, but before this October for the car show for sure. There are still some parts I need to gather and some minor design issues that I've run into, but nothing that I can't overcome. More on that in the next video over on Duckman Cycles. Well, thanks everybody for watching another successful video project that we've got going on here. Thank you again for your questions and suggestions. If you'd like to ask any, comment down below, or check out Duckman Cycles and VW Garage on the other channel where I'm actually doing the build on this, and leave them down below in the video description. Of course, if you'd like to email me and keep the comments private, duckmancycles@duckshit.net, or hit up any of our social media links, which you can find up on duckshit.net. And of course, the car alarm's got to go off at the same time we're recording the video. We were just talking about it's either a lawnmower or a dog, and now it's a car alarm.
Crash is very
But we're going to leave that in the video because it's fun. Yeah, your head's sticking up like an ostrich. I saw that. Anything you'd like to add up today on this?
No.
Any suggestions of what you'd like to see on this thing?
I'm really interested to see where you end up putting the shifter.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that some more on Wednesday's video, so check it out over on Duckman Cycles VW Garage. And we'll be doing some cutting to the frame, and you guys will see what happens there.
That's it?
That's it!
That's it!
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
I don't know what